Joining me now is Sarah Henderson, a Liberal Senator for the great state of Victoria. Thanks for joining us again, Sarah. I guess you obviously contemplated your political mortality in the lead up to polling day on Saturday, but the strength of Labor's victory, and especially the number of senior Liberals taken out by the Teal Independents, must have come as such a shock.
Well, Chris, good afternoon. Great to join you. And it has been a shock. There is no two ways about it. I was watching Josh Frydenberg give his speech with his wonderful wife, Amy, on Saturday night. I was doing the ABC radio broadcast on their panel, and I became particularly emotional. It's very hard to see the loss of so many wonderful Liberal MPs, including, of course, Josh. And in Victoria, we've also lost Tim Wilson, Katie Allen, and Gladys Liu, all great warriors for our state in the federal parliament. And the irony, Chris, is we've lost a lot of diversity. I mean, we've lost two great Liberal women, including one born in Hong Kong. We've lost a gay MP who led the charge on marriage equality, and we've lost a Jewish MP. So a big loss of diversity, but more than that, we've lost a great deal of talent. And we're coming to grips with the fact that we are now in opposition, and we've got a tough road ahead of us to recover and to rebuild. Is Peter Dutton the man to lead the opposition? Well, look, I'm going to refrain from commenting on the leadership ballot at this stage. It's very early days. I've had some conversations with some of my colleagues. I think he is a strong contender, and if he does succeed, I think he will be a very strong leader. He's very focused on the fact that we are a centre-right party, and those values are really, to a large degree, through no fault of our own, Chris, did slip a bit during the pandemic. I mean, we had no option. We had to invest in Australians at a time when our economy was on the brink. So we don't apologise for investing in JobKeeper. We don't apologise for the enormous amount of financial support that we pushed into the economy to ensure that our economy and our country could be one of the best in terms of pandemic recovery of any in the world. But it has been very tough to come to grips with the fact that the democratic will of the Australian people did not go in our favour. And as I say, now is the time to recover and to rebuild. Just back onto the leadership, though, do you expect Peter Dutton will be uncontested, or it sounds like there might be another nominee? Look, I really don't know, Chris. I can't speculate on that at this very early stage. What about the deputy's job? Surely you need a woman as deputy leader, if I could play some identity politics. Look, I do think we do need a woman as our deputy leader, but I won't. We've got some fabulous women in the party, including me too, Chris, but I won't be putting my hand up. I won't speculate. You won't put your hand up, but it could be a senator. There's nothing in the rules that suggests your deputy leader can't be from the Senate, is there? No, there's not. But I won't speculate on who that person might be, but I do think that we do need an incredible Liberal woman as our deputy leader. Yeah, we'll see what transpires there. Just on Josh Frydenberg, he has now conceded the seat of Kooyong. He issued a social media message today thanking people and announcing that that's the outcome. Here it is.
Every day I've given my all to the job, inspired by the people that I've met. Among those, people who volunteer at our charities and our sporting clubs, who work in our small businesses and in our schools. We've achieved so much together. It's their contribution which makes our community great. To the people of Kooyong, I say thank you. I now look forward to spending more time with my beautiful family.
Yeah, Josh Frydenberg there talking about what he's up to next. But what about the option of a place being found for him? I mean, he's such a talent. He's so young. He's so energetic. He obviously is a potential Prime Minister of this country. Are there moves afoot within the Victorian Liberal Party to see whether a spot might be found for him, perhaps, for instance, in the Senate? There's a couple of male senators from the Liberal Party in Victoria that I don't think most people have ever heard of. Maybe one of those could be thinking about retirement. Well, Chris, can I just answer that question by firstly saying that under the leadership of Scott Morrison, Josh Frydenberg and Greg Hunt, we have never faced a greater challenge than since the Second World War. I am incredibly proud of the work of our government. We've come out of this pandemic
with unemployment low, a very strong economy. In Geelong, would you believe, unemployment is 1.9%. So lots and lots of jobs growth, great investment in infrastructure.
We've talked a lot about the record, but let's talk about Josh Frydenberg. Could a spot be found for him in the in the Senate, a Victorian spot in the Senate, until he can go back to the lower house?
Well, I'm talking about the record because part of that record is the record of Josh Frydenberg. And the answer, in short, to your question is we need to get Josh back in the Parliament. That's my view. And I hope, no matter how that happens, I hope that he does come back.
But the Senate is a very good option, isn't it? If you could convince someone to retire, no election required, he goes straight back into the Senate, straight back into leadership and debate in this country. And from there, of course, he could look at whether or not at the next election he recontests in Kooyong.
Look, I'm not going to speculate that other than I think that Josh Frydenberg is an extraordinary talent. He was an amazing treasurer. He steered our nation through the toughest of times. And Chris, I certainly, for one, believe that he does need to come back to our Parliament.
Right, women. We've got to talk about women. There's so much to talk about on other policy issues, but you need more women. You said, of course, the next deputy needs to be a woman. But I'm not a fan of quotas. I've never been a fan of quotas. But because the Liberal Party has failed to meet targets, surely you've got to go down the path of quotas. I understand the arguments against them, but you've got to get women in there. And if you need quotas to do it, why not have quotas?
Look, whether you call it a quota, whether you call it a strong target, frankly, the challenge is to get more women into Parliament. We had some incredible women running in Victoria, the likes of Stephanie Asher in Corangamite, Sian Coombs in Dunkley, of course, Zoe McKenzie in Flinders is coming into the Parliament, a great win for her. But it's very, very tough to find great Liberal women who want to run for Parliament. It's a very big commitment, but it is a challenge for our party and we've got to continue to work harder. But as I mentioned, we've lost some incredible women. It is just so sad to lose the likes of Lucy Wicks and of course, as I mentioned, Katie and Gladys here in Victoria. It is very tough when so many women are going into marginal seats or more marginal seats, like I did, of course, when I was in Corangamite. But as we know, there is no such thing as a safe seat in the Parliament. We do need to do more, Chris, and we're going to need to examine that as part of our overall review.
Thanks for joining us, Sarah. I really appreciate you turning up today.
Yeah, great to talk to you, Chris.
Sarah Henderson there. She does mention the women who have lost their seats in the election. She mentioned also Zoe McKenzie. That's a great woman coming into Parliament for the Liberal Party in that seat of Flinders, replacing Greg Hunt. Also, our good friend Jacinta Price into the Senate for the Territory. That is great news for the Coalition, for the Parliament and for the country.